Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We are all George. In this late night stream, I want to discuss this massive Bitcoin inflow into Kraken. What does it mean? Should we be careful? Well, that is what this stream is all about. And also, there's a few other pieces of news that I think you guys will be interested in. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. And make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you don't miss out on any of my streams. 2 streams every day, 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, so thanks for tuning in, guys. Those of you guys in the chat already, welcome. Let's do this. Let me change my screen here. Alrighty. So Bitcoin is a little bit weaker, but overall it's still pretty good. I mean, this whole day, Bitcoin was pretty much above 48,700 and utilized that as a support. So pretty much the whole day was around 49,000. Now, recently, it came down a little bit. There's a couple reasons why. Is it all due to this Kraken inflow? Maybe not, because there is something else that's going on right now, currently right now. So before I show you guys anything, let's look at our good old friends at F2 Pool. So if you zoom in, the activity is actually really, really low. You can see the outflow from about 47,000 to where we are about 49,000. Thank you for that super chat. You can see Bitcoin came up and the outflow was actually really small, really tame compared to the outflow here. So do you notice something? Do you notice when Bitcoin was coming down, you notice the outflow was a lot more, and now that Bitcoin is coming up, the outflow is a lot less? Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so. But, when you spread out like this, it's harder to see. But when you go back to the day and then you realize, remember these days where 14,000 outflows happened? Well, if you add these up, they're substantial. 7,000, 7,000, 8,500. Even today, 6,000. And then going into tomorrow, 3,400. So this is definitely adding pressure to Bitcoin. There's no doubt about it. But right now, it seems like that is not the case. If you zoom in on the hourly, you can see right now it's actually really, really tame. All right. So what's going on? So thank you for one of my patrons that showed me this and looked at it. So moving on to Kraken. So this is a chart of Kraken, the exchange inflow. And there is an enormous spike of 15,000 Bitcoins that inflowed in. Now previously, there was a spike about 3,400 here. Also a spike about 7,600. This time it is 15,000 Bitcoins. So this definitely raises a red flag. But someone did tell me that this could be an OTC trade, that someone is just utilizing Kraken to buy large amounts of Bitcoins. And that's why you have an inflow and then you have an outflow. So if you look at Kraken's outflow, you will see that the outflow is kind of hard to see this one specifically from February 22nd. But this one, that's 7,600. You can see there was an outflow here of exactly 7,600. So it didn't seem like that previous one was simply a purchase. Like Kraken purchased it somehow and then sold it to whoever, right? So it could be that this relates to that, right? So although that looks very, very scary, that 15,000 Bitcoins flew in, if you do the math, that's $750 million. I mean, there's just no whale out there that seems like they would try to dump $750 million worth of Bitcoin. That's just ridiculous amount. You have to be among the largest whales on Earth to be able to do this. So it makes more sense. This is an OTC trade, but still, even an OTC trade, who's buying $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? But here's also the thing. This is happening right now. This just occurred like an hour ago. This is occurring right now when Binance, the biggest exchange on Earth, is having a system upgrade. It just started. It started about 20 minutes ago. It's supposed to last 1 hour, right? So this was just timed very strangely that this was happening at the same time. So what we're seeing now could just be because of Binance being down. Or people are also noticing, because ever since I brought F2 Pool to attention, people have been looking at crypto quant a lot more, setting alerts. It could be that people are just proactively selling off to prevent prevent any kind of volatility. That could be it too. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. If this is an OTC sale and that it's go outflow tomorrow, we really won't know. But if you look at the previous one, here's like an inflow of 3,400. You could see that actually happened towards a bottom around 45,000. And actually Bitcoin went up after that. So this inflow seemed like it's pretty good. Now this inflow is a little bit different because you could see it inflowed in. Bitcoin did go up temporarily a little bit, but then there was a big downturn, right? But again, that could just be a coincidence. That just happened because F2 Pool is still outflowing a lot, right? So this may have not contributed to that at all. Or maybe it did. Maybe whoever sent it in, put some sell orders, put some sell orders on the order book, and it made everyone scared, and then transferred out. I don't know the exact reason. And this one is obviously, this is so big. I mean, this is twice as big as the deposit from before. So we'll just have to see. But the best way to treat this is just be careful. Be careful. Do not panic. Do not panic sell. Do not do anything that relates to panicking. Okay? Don't do anything like that. But be careful. If you're thinking about today, like right now is a good time to buy a little more, dollar cost average, maybe it's a little bit better to hold off a little bit just to see the landscape, right? So that's all I'm saying. But right now, Bitcoin is still holding really well at 48,500, just slightly off from where we were about an hour ago. And again, this could have nothing to do with Kraken, and it could have everything to do with this Binance upgrade, which is being done at a very, very, very particular moment. Well, I guess not really. For us in the US, it's like prime time right now. But in Asia, this is probably like really early morning, right? So this should last 1 hour. Sometimes the Binance upgrades take a lot longer than that. Sometimes it goes to 2 hours, 3 hours. So we will just have to see what happens again after this. All right. So that's what I'll uncover right off the bat. And I'm going to keep my eye on it. But there are other few pieces of news that I want to discuss. Number one is, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. This project has been, a lot of people have been asking me about paid during Q&A. And they're suffering a hack right now. So they're down about 80%. This is not a time to be buying. So turns out that a whole bunch of new tokens was created based on something. Like they had someone on the inside had access to their private key or access to their code, and they maliciously printed out a whole bunch of tokens, sent it to a wallet, and dumped it. And the team is telling you, despite the fact that it is down 80%, do not buy it in. So they're trying to figure out, I believe they took a snapshot of before the new minted was created. So they're basically go restore the network or create a new one. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they're still trying to figure it out, right? So unfortunately, stuff like this still happens. A lot of times when a new project comes out, it could be hacked. There could be some bad smart contract vulnerability that wasn't detected, or you could have inside theft. So right now, we don't know who on the inside that actually did this, but I'm sure once they're done with their investigations, they will share. So unfortunately, that has happened for those of you guys that are paid fans. What else has happened? John McAfee indicted by the Department of Justice over alleged cryptocurrency fraud charges. Those of you guys that were around in 2017, you'll know that John McAfee, very, very, very active with altcoins. And he was shill altcoin like literally every week. I remember Verge was shilled by him, and it went up like 1,000,000% during that time. And then he went on to like, what is that, Skycoin. He went up to some like, I don't know, Cab Coin or something. He came out of the Privacy Coin, and it turned out it was just, you know, him doing pump and dumps. So the Department of Justice looked at everything he has done in 2017, and I think charged him with like 17 counts or something. This is on top of the IRS basically charging him for tax evasion. So, I mean, John McAfee could be in a world of hurt. If I was reading that every charge can get up to 15 years in jail, 5 to 15 years, and he's been charged with like 13 of them. So, unfortunately, it's not looking good for John McAfee right now. Yeah. So, moving on. Let's see. Twitter, Jack Dorsey, he is getting involved with NFTs. NFTs is really, really hot right now, right? So, he is actually minting the very first Twitter post, just setting up my Twitter back in 2006. And he made this into an NFT, and currently the bid is at $88,888. So Jack is getting involved with NFTs. So with NFTs, you could literally create anything. You could create snapshots of tweets, pictures, art, moments in time, virtual plays, collectibles, pretty much anything. And we're just at the beginning. This is just the beginning of it all. And what else is there? Well, NBA, you know, NBA Top Shots, which is also NFT. Well, now the NBA has assembled the blockchain billionaire. So they have now come up with like a team to look at how to utilize blockchain, and specifically look at how they can expand NFTs because of the popularity over Top Shots, which I know today there was some kind of airdrop. I mean, new pack drop. A lot of you guys were trying to get into it, but the NBA is going all out on this. They're trying to figure out how to make more money due to a lot of the games being postponed and canceled and stuff like that. And I think this is just going to blow up to other leagues. And there are other projects that are already getting involved with other leagues, but not to the extent of Top Shots. But yeah, this is serious. This is serious. Some people still think NFTs is a fad. I think it's here to stay. Now, the high valuations, a lot of the silliness of it will probably go away. But ultimately what's going to happen is music, movies, sports, collectibles, they're all moving to NFTs. They're all being digitized. And for those people that think, digitize is stupid, well, that's what gold people say about Bitcoin, right? And if you think, I know you guys are interested in Bitcoin and crypto, well, they're digital, right? So you can't say one thing and say, hey, I like digital currencies, but I don't like digital collectibles. Well, that just makes you a hypocrite, right? All right, so what else is there? I think that's it. Well, of course, those of you guys that missed it, Michael Saylor this morning purchased another $10 million worth of Bitcoin, right? So my stream this morning was about how Michael Saylor is the guy we should all emulate right now. Basically, he has very strong hands, diamond hands, and he continues to dollar cost average regardless of what's going on, right? Obviously, he lived through a dot-com bubble. He shared a story before how people laughed at him when he kept buying Apple, when it kept going down. He didn't care, kept doing it, and you know what? It ended up pretty good for him. And he's doing the same thing with Bitcoin, and this is what we all want to do. We want to emulate this. We want to be strong holders. Take advantage of the dips and just continue to hold it for life-changing wealth, just like Michael Saylor. All right, so that's pretty much all I want to cover. Bitcoin's still at 48,500. Right now seems to be holding pretty steady. This outflow from Kraken can be just a OTC sale. It could be that, or maybe there's some other shenanigans going on, but that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of Bitcoins to be inflowing for shenanigans, though. That's like $750 million. That's enormous. Right? But what we're seeing right now could just be effective Binance's system going down. Binance, number one traffic in terms of exchanges around the world. So when it goes down, you know what? That could cause some turbulence. So hopefully this resolves itself and we'll see what happens, right? Now, in the meantime, if you look at altcoins are doing pretty good today. You know, Bitcoin overall is up about 4%. Ethereum is up 4%. Binance Chain, Uniswap. Look at Uniswap. Wow, I didn't even notice that. Uniswap climbed up so much. It's at number 8 now. I don't know if you guys paid attention. Wow. They jumped up 17% recently. Man, I missed this altogether. They were still at like number 11 or 12 like a day or two ago. They jumped up 17, 18% this week. And while the others have slid down, it kept growing. And now it's at $15 billion. Wow, that's impressive. And if it keeps going like this, it'll flip over XRP. Wow. Yeah, but like I was saying, a lot of altcoins came up today, so that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. Definitely not time to be panicking. But with that said, there's still a lot of bargains out there. I've been saying that for a while now. All right, so I'll turn to you guys for some Q&A. Elliot, I bet you're trolling me with that Litecoin question. Man, today's chat is going nuts right now. Cardano news? No Cardano news right now. Cardano, I mean Charles, he did a stream yesterday. It was a little controversial, and I don't want to get too much into it, but basically he was talking about Texas and the face mask rule and how the healthcare system operates, and vitamin D went a little off tangent, right? But outside of that, Cardano is still executing. There's nothing really different at this point. Thoughts on Bitrude's token up 250%. I'm not going to look at it just because it's up 250%. So usually when that happens, it's just a pump group that pumps it. That's it. There's no fundamental reason for a token to go up that much that fast. So it's a pump group that's pumping it. That's simply it. CRO, you know, crypto.com is a fine project with a good app, although I never used it. Financial app that allows you to pretty much do anything. And they're building out their own chain and so forth. So they're a good project. Thoughts on KuCoin tokens? I like it. I like KuCoin tokens. I think KuCoin is an overall pretty darn good exchange, and they do have token burning. And you know what? I think they're gonna do well, especially when Coinbase goes IPO. All exchanges will be valued against that, and Coinbase is worth $100 billion supposedly. So that automatically raises up Binance, Huobi, KuCoin, Voyager. You know. What is your opinion on BNB? Do you think it's undervalued? Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's undervalued. I think it's right where it's supposed to be, but I do think it's going to go much higher. Antoine asks, you talked about VET being held back. Where do you think it could go? You think it'll hold strong in March? It really depends on the market. VET did not decouple from Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin does well, all these valuations that I'm projecting is based on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up well, which I anticipate it will, and it goes up 10x from here to $500,000, well, then all these big caps are going to follow. Cardano, Binance Chain, Polkadot, VeChain, and several others. They're all going to go at least 10x, if not more. So, yeah, So a lot of you guys are wondering about that. Yeah, that's how I came up with it. I don't like PivX because it's a privacy play. Unistake looks pretty interesting. I did a sponsored review of them recently, and they work exclusive with Uniswap. They picked out pretty good exchange to work with, or DEX to work with. So they seem pretty interesting. 10-minute, I just covered them. Hey, you need to watch my Patreon video, man. I did cover them, didn't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did cover. Well, maybe it was an earlier video, but I did create an NFT video yesterday or the day before, and I think Wax is undervalued because they're pure NFT play, and I think a lot of people are overlooking them because they're just an older project. Aave, I think Aave needs to do something about their scaling. So I think they're gonna move to Matic, and when they announce that, it could be pretty big. But until then, they may be a little bit stagnant. Yeah, 10-minute I did in one of my older videos, or just check out the one I published like a day ago. Not on Patreon, on my regular channel. Kylan data integration on Polkadot. It operates on Ethereum platform, so it's building a bridge to Polkadot. Data infrastructure for DeFi, okay, powered by Polkadot. That's weird because that said it was Ethereum. Building cross-chain platform, power and data economy, okay. Data Oracle. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There seems to be a lot of companies that's doing this. You know, acting as like a data sharing platform or a bridge or something like that. So I don't know. It's okay, I guess. I have to do more research on it. Charles asks, "What's your opinion about 1inch?" Actually, I'm surprised 1inch is actually weaker recently. You know, the only DEX that seems to be doing good is Uniswap, and I'm really surprised it went up that much. But like, you know, 1inch is a DEX aggregator. Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap, Bakery Swap, they all been kind of down recently, right? It seems like DeFi cooled off a little bit, maybe because the money went in NFTs, but not for Uniswap. Uniswap is exploding. So I think 1inch is good, and they recently announced they're moving to Binance Chain, so that's also positive. Thoughts on Waves and Swoop? Waves is too old school. I don't know what Swoop or Swap is, or is that? Are you talking about their DEX exchange? I think they're just too old school the way their DEX works. George, is Voyager a reliable company switching from Nexio? I mean, they're different from Nexio. Voyager, their app is great. You don't need to officially stake. As long as you hold it in the wallet, it's fine. But there are a few times where Voyager has gone down because of traffic, so that kind of sucks. There is a waiting list, I believe, still. And the liquidity isn't the greatest from Voyager too. I think like the buy and sell books, sometimes there's a vast difference between them. So sometimes it is a little bit aggravating when you're trying to buy or sell. Stacks, yeah, I looked at it before. Trying to build like dApps on top of Bitcoin, I just don't see it. Bitcoin is not a blockchain meant for that. More, you know, dApps should run on dApps. And blockchains is meant for it, not Bitcoin. TK, appreciate that. Stefan, I like Elron. Elron is doing good things. A lot of partnerships, a lot of things going on. They're staying in the limelight, so as a new promising blockchain, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Thank you for that. PundyX is doing a massive token reduction this month, George. It doesn't really matter. I still don't think they can compete with the other guys. I still don't. Ivan already talked about paid network. You don't have to keep posting it. Thoughts on Tron's current valuation? I don't get much people to ask me about Tron anymore. I don't know what they're doing. They have dropped down quite a bit, from their top 10 status to now top 20. Soon they might drop to top 30 because there's just not a lot of people that really care about Tron at this point. There's just Justin's marketing is just wearing off on people. When will you predict next run for everything? Is March going to be a bear month? I don't know. It's still very early. You guys got to realize that we just lived through this. It took about a month for us to get out of 40K. 40 to 30K, we stayed there for about a month. And right now, we barely stayed up here, like the 40, 50K range. So it could definitely take a month. So I actually drew this out when I was bored one day. And you could see from peak of 42 to get back to peak of 42, it took 31 days. 31 days. And then after we broke it, then we moved up pretty good, right? So now if you do a peak of 58, we're about, a week in? 2 weeks in? So we might have to wait. We may see it just go up and down until maybe end of March, right? That would align to the last month. So sometimes you just got to wait a little bit. And then afterwards, things go exploding up. Jamie asked, did you see Goose DeFi yesterday? They started layer farming that caused egg to spike from 50 to 90. Okay, exciting to watch. Someone showed me the yields on Goose DeFi, and it was insane. Thousands of percents, but you know what? I always say be careful. Be careful. A lot of these projects, especially AMMs with yield farming, they promise crazy returns, and then guess what? A vulnerability or a hack happens, and you could be out of everything. So I don't like some of these that is drawing so many people in, and so many people feel like, oh, there's so much liquidity, it has to be legit. A lot of these projects haven't really been audited or tested. So be careful. Really be careful about them. Jeff, well, of course I know about it. That's the whole point of the stream. 2K, appreciate it, but I do appreciate a super chat. What else is there? Moon Chama, appreciate that. Thoughts on BlockFi? Well, they seem legit. I'm trying to form something with them. They were interested in sponsoring this channel, so I'm still working with them on that. But after talking to them, they seem like they're pretty legit. They have a lot of good things going for them, but they're not the only player in the space. Like Nexo, Celsius, a lot of these guys are in the same space. So we'll see. Fett says, left my job to scalp. BDC made $4. I don't know how y'all do it 9 to 5. $4. You probably should not have left your job for that. Omi, Ikomi, yeah. License to make Pokemon, okay, yeah, I did see them before, but couple problems with them. I mean, it could be resolved. One, they're on bad exchanges. Number two, they're not a small play. If you look at their overall market cap on CoinGecko, because CMC doesn't list it, they're actually decently big already. So they can do some good stuff, especially with the NFL, but I don't know if they're going to come out with something equivalent to NBA Top Shots. Top Shots is different. It's not just NFTs of plays. NBA figured out, or at least Flow figured out, how to incorporate, scarcity by doing random pack drops, basically, right? You get random cards. You don't know what it is. They're serial numbered. They're it's like imitation of like sports cards, right? But digital versions of it. So they built in a lot of that gamification inside, where a lot of these other NFTs are not. You're simply just buying what you see, right? So that's why I think NBA Top's just so different. Meat Crab, buy or sell? Why would you buy something that was just hacked for $31 million? That doesn't even make any sense. Why would you even think about that? If you started a portfolio today, what coins would you select and what percentage? That's too long. Too long of a conversation. Just go with Bitcoin. I would just go with Bitcoin. How would the world opening up affect the market? I think in a positive way. Very positive way. Especially for some of these projects, it's more like in the retail space. It could definitely help them in a big way. Munchma. George, big head and shoulders in a 4-hour chart for BTC. What do you think about that? Coincides with BTC outflow, might drive the price down to 43. I don't see no big head and shoulders. Where do you see the big head and shoulders? Oh, right here? It could. Okay, I was thinking that you were looking at this. No, but yeah, I guess that's one shoulder right here, a head and a shoulder, and if this completes, it could drop down to 45 or 43. But we're not there yet. Maybe not. Sometimes these patterns, they go through and sometimes they don't. So you really don't know. Message retracted. Okay. 14 outflow out of Kraken, not inflow. That's the latest. Okay. I was waiting for that to update. Let's see. Yeah, so that did outflow. So that's pretty good. We solved that mystery. People already said that to me, but it didn't update before because this one correlated with this one. So that's pretty good. So that solves that mystery. But right now, we don't see a quick bounce up, right? And it could be because the Binance system upgrade, or it could be what someone just said, this head and shoulders pattern playing out, or it's just going sideways, and that's it. We just don't know, right? We need more data. We'll have to see what happens after the Binance update and see if there's any kind of movement. Maybe there's a big pump afterwards. DS, appreciate it. Ken asks, just joined. Didn't FD7 sell? Okay. No, and that's not it. And there's a lot of questions about FD7, whether or not they're legit, because the two founders don't seem like they have money. They definitely don't seem like they have $1 billion if you look at their past history. And people have questioned them and looked at their interviews, and they didn't even really seem like they got what Cardano is. So a lot of people are wondering if it's just all BS, that they just released a whole bunch of PR saying that they're buying $750 million. So I'd be very careful about any FD7 reports. What are your thoughts on Fast Swap? CZ have been following them from the beginning. I have no idea. Probably swapping project on BSC. Decentralized change, okay. Cross swap, yeah. Powered by Polkadot, okay. Yeah, so it's one of those swapping projects. It's not an AMM. It's just like a pure swap, I guess, a DEX. Fastest swapping experience, okay. So you can... it's automated liquidity provision on Ethereum, Tron, BSC, cross-chain swap. Okay, through Parachain and Polkadot. Looks pretty good. Where are they at? Yeah, the exchanges is probably holding them back. If they were listed on Binance, they would probably do much better. Okay, I mean, it sounds good in theory, but there's a lot of projects that does that, so we'll have to see. Paul, thank you. Stefan asked, what about ETH Classic? Strong community, okay. IOHK stopped backing them because Charles wanted to help them with their 51% attacks. They turned them down. So Ethereum Classic, there's no future for them other than miners move to them because Ethereum miners don't want to support EIP 1559, and eventually a lot of them will move out anyways when ETH goes pure, proof of stake. So I think that's going to be their saving grace. But right now, I don't know what their future is. How are they different from Ethereum? Bash, appreciate that. Robert, thank you. DV has been pumping. Are you skeptical about CEO? They have an awesome CIO. Did I say I was skeptical about the CEO? Accelerate the adoption of digital currency to make life better. We make crypto fun and easy. Okay, frictionless payment ecosystem. Okay. Best in class experience. So, okay. So they're like I don't know, kind of like a financial app. Okay. Did I ever look at it? I don't recall I looked at the CEO. Where's the team page? Yeah, I don't know. They seem okay. Relatively low cap. On Bitmax, Bitrue, yeah, that's holding them back. Their exchanges. I mean, at face value, they look okay. I don't know how much traction they have, how many people have downloaded a wallet, how many people are using them, right? But they seem okay. What else did I miss? I did mention a paid network hack. So obviously they're still trying to figure it out, but do not be buying this. If you see something like this, basically it's done. Here's the thing. Even if they roll back, right, and they recover lost funds, pure decentralized guys will say you shouldn't be able to do that. That you shouldn't have a central authority over the blockchain, because if you could roll things back, then it's not really decentralized, right? You're still centralized. So it's one of those things. If you're damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't, right? But I think most people just want their tokens back. They don't want they don't want their funds to be stolen from them. But someone like Charles would say no, we should not do it. That's why he started Cardano, because he hated what Ethereum did with the DAO hack, right? So it's one of those tricky situations. I saw IOST is doing a partnership with Polkadot. So I don't know if they went up today or not. Yeah, they went up pretty good. So that's pretty interesting. I guess they're going to have an interoperable bridge so that they could talk to each other. The apps could talk to each other. Mario, appreciate that. Sparta. Actually, Sparta looks pretty interesting. I actually like the team is anonymous. I like their approach. They're trying to be they're trying to turn it eventually into an AMM, but right now they're just concentrating on staking, and then they're going to open up other stuff later. But a lot of these DeFi projects have gotten weak recently because Bitcoin's a little bit shakier. But I do anticipate once Bitcoin levels out, gets back up to highs and makes new highs, then the DeFi project will come up in a big way. So, Akira Network? I have no idea what that is. Akria Network? Doesn't show up, so I don't know what that is. Stimulus deal tonight. Senate expected to vote this weekend. Might explain the Kraken inflow. No, yeah, the Kraken inflow hate to say it, that mystery has been solved. It seems like it's an OTC play where it flowed in and then now it has flowed out. So the exact same amount. So seems like Kraken may have bought that OTC market and then sold it off. So that's it. So right now, what we're seeing, the little weakness could be because of the Binance shutdown. Binance is going to system upgrade. It still could be F2 pool because, you know, quite honestly, there's still large amounts of outflow, especially if you look at a day. If you look at the hourly, it's actually quite low. But if you look at a day, there's still thousands of thousands that outflow every single day. So I don't know what they're doing with it. Obviously, there's some, you know, China's trying to crack down on certain regions, you know, with Bitcoin mining. Is this related to that? Could be, right? But there's still large outflow from them. But it could just be perfectly natural that, you know, Bitcoin is just going sideways a little bit. Or maybe some technical people say it's a head and shoulders or there's something else going on. But, you know, at this point, Bitcoin is doing just fine. A lot of altcoins are doing just fine. I mean, even if it goes down, you know, you guys know the story. You hold, right? You stay strong and you take advantage of bargains when they present themselves. That's simple. That's simple. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go. Have a good night. It's Friday night. I know you guys want to do your own thing, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think this Kraken inflow, I think we solved it. I think we solved it unless we just see some really strange things happen afterwards. But this Binance upgrade and this inflow at the same time, you know, is a little bit fishy, but maybe there's nothing to it at all. And we just have to wait it out and see. All right? So thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for my stream tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye.